Hola queridos, bienvenidos a bordo, bienvenidos nuevamente a mi canal. Hoy les traigo algo distinto, es una cosa que quiero explorar y que encuentro súper interesante. Son entrevistas a personas que han trabajado en el barco, ¿verdad? Amigos que yo tengo alrededor del mundo que han trabajado en barco y han hecho una posición diferente a la mía para que ustedes puedan conocer cómo se trabaja y qué es lo que ellos hacen diariamente. Yo hice una entrevista estándar con alrededor de 10, 12 preguntas que las voy a ir haciendo a través de Zoom. También voy a enviar las preguntas y ellos se pueden grabar o las voy a ir haciendo en vivo a medida que pueda. Ustedes ya saben que cuando uno se embarca hay poco tiempo, ¿ya? Entonces, de repente la mejor posibilidad es hacerla a través de Zoom. En fin, la primera entrevista que voy a hacer, y les pido encarecidamente que si encuentran que hay otra pregunta interesante, la escriban en los comentarios, es para mi amigo David. Él es de Estados Unidos, Florida. Él la va a hacer la entrevista en inglés, pero ustedes pueden poner los subtítulos. Y él es un sound technician. Él trabaja en toda la área del sonido, de cuál es la música que se va a tocar en este lugar, que por ejemplo si van a hacer el setup de una banda, ellos puedan, todo funcione bien. De eso se encarga él. Él ha hecho alrededor de 3 contratos, no 4, y él trabajó en Norwegian, que fue donde nos conocimos cuando yo hice de Guest Services. Y él estaba trabajando en eso y luego se cambió a Virgin, que es otra naviera. Entonces de Norwegian Cruise Line pasó a Virgin Cruise Line. Así que él nos va a contar más o menos cómo es su vida diaria, qué es lo que él hace, el uniforme, y también le pedí que hablara un poquito sobre cuáles son las diferencias más grandes que él encuentra entre naviera y naviera. Así que eso, chicos, espero que lo disfruten y cualquier idea, por favor, en los comentarios.
Hello, my name is David. I am 39. I am an audio technician on board currently with Virgin Voyages. I first started to work on cruise ships when I was very young. It was an idea that I had straight out of high school. But I wanted to go to college first, got my college degree, went out into the working world, and while I was out there getting fairly decent money, I kind of stagnated. Basically, that means I was living at cost. I was making money, but not enough to go anywhere. I paid my bills, I had my car, I ate, and that was about it. I had debt that was piling up from college, and I needed a way to break this routine. So I went back to this idea of working on cruise ships, and I got exactly what I was looking for. I got rid of my bills, I paid off my debts, and I have begun saving money. And that's how far I've gotten so far. When I first started looking for work on cruise ships, I went directly to the first company's website that I could think of, which at the time was Norwegian Cruise Lines. So all the way at the bottom of their website, everybody's got that, there's a careers button. You hit that, you can look at all of their available jobs. I found one that I thought fit me. I applied, and within a few weeks, I got an email back for a video interview. And I believe, like a lot of interviews are conducted on Skype or Zoom. I've done some interviews on Zoom. I've done some interviews on Skype. So it's good to have an account on one of those if you don't already. So you're prepared for that. I highly recommend setting up your room for your interview, much like I have here. Just like a standard blank background, plenty of light on your face. I actually also have a light coming from this direction here, if you can see the white on the back of my hand. That way you look good, you feel more confident when you look good, And that's honestly, that's how I landed I think how I landed the job. I worked for Norwegian Cruise Lines for a total of 7 contracts. Each contract is about 6 months each, so for a total of about 5 years. I now work for Virgin Voyages. I've been with them for 2 full contracts, so just a little bit over a year. And I've got a 3rd contract coming up in a few weeks. Norwegian Cruise Lines have been at it for a while, so they have a lot of rules, mainly more to protect themselves than to protect you, but at the same time, if you follow them all, you're protecting yourself. So I guess that's that. I just felt like they were very restrictive, a lot of rules for very worst case scenarios, and most people have more control over themselves than that. My job generally entails fixing and making sure that our systems keep working. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's David. I'm the sound tech. So anytime there's a performer doing a speech, singing, dancing, you name it, one of my guys is out there checking the system, making sure the lights work, making sure the microphones work, running around the ship. If any of these systems stop working for whatever reason, we are running to fix it and keep it going. If people get bored, they have a bad time. So we got to keep the entertainment going. And when you're out at sea, you can't run down to the store to pick up a new part. You got to fix it where you're at. Because if they need to order a new part, it's not going to arrive for weeks or months. So ideally, if you're going into a technical field, you need to know your tech. I highly suggest anybody that wants to be sound, lighting, that kind of technician to play with tech. If you're good at fixing things, if you're good at taking things apart and figuring out why they're not working, if you're good at troubleshooting, which is the computer's not working, is it plugged in? I work in entertainment, and sometimes you can come into that at a base level and learn as you go, but you are more likely to get the job if you have some experience, and you can gain experience anywhere. Anywhere around the world there's concerts, and all the concerts need people to set them up. They hire day labor, they hire anybody who can lift a box and push a cart for the day. I highly recommend those jobs if you don't have much experience, because while you're pushing carts and you're moving cases, you get to work with people who really know what they're doing. You can learn from the best, and then that's writable experience. That's time working in the field. And it may not pay very well, it may not be a very good job, but you're learning on the job, you're gaining experience, and you're writing it, you're filling out your resume. So I highly recommend that if you are looking for entertainment work. I am a sound tech, so I work with the bands. So the more experience I had working with equipment, the better my resume looked. So when it comes to paychecks, I don't like talking about a number. I like talking about how I'm going to tell you how much I make, but in a way that I think makes more sense than just a number. The company pays me in US dollars, and I go home to the US, which means there's no conversion. The money goes straight in my bank account. Having said that, I'm not rich. Like, I don't take home a whole lot of money. Some people make a much smaller amount of money, and when they go home, they live like kings, due to the conversion rates. So entertainment is usually in the evening. So a lot of times we have our mornings relatively slow. A lot of us are able to wake up late and then work late into the evening and then go to bed at generally after midnight before you get off. Depending on the cruise line, depending on the contract, depending on the location the ship is sailing around, sometimes you end up working very late if you have lots of guests at party, and sometimes you go to bed earlier if it's a bunch of old people on their retirement cruise. Being that we don't have much going on in the mornings, we usually rotate our mornings. One person from our crew will handle all the stuff that happens in the morning, and everyone else will be free to relax, which is helpful for my department, because when we're in port, that gives more of us free time to go out and explore all the countries that we get to visit. So every company that I've ever worked for has given me a uniform to wear. As a technician, black. I have some degree of freedom to bring my own clothes to work, but it needs to be dressy, it needs to look good, it needs to be on brand. So I get to wear almost any shoe I want, as long as it is solid black. They give me pants, but I can bring my own dress black pants. I have done contracts where I shared my cabin. I have done contracts where I had my own cabin. Generally, solo cabins are quite small. Reach both sides with your hand. Like, just enough room to walk between the bed and the wall. Not much. I like a two-person cabin. There's enough room for about 5 or 6 people to hang out. That's me. I like to hang out with my friends, have a few people over, bring a few beers from the crew bar, and just hang out and chit chat with people. It's a good time. If you are sharing a cabin, just get to know your cabin mate. See if they're interested in having people over. See what your interests are, communicate your interest, like what bothers you with them. Like, it's a partnership that you don't have any choice over. Having said that, if you have a problem with your cabin mate, generally HR on the ship has a policy for dealing with it. So if it's a terrible situation, there's some flexibility to move you and swap you to a different cabin. Friendship and love and friendship. Is it possible? Yes, absolutely. It's rarer than you'd like to believe. Friends? Absolutely. Make friends. They'll be with you for the rest of your life. When you get to hang out with somebody every day for 4 months, you form a bond that is unbreakable. Having said that, about friendship, dating is a different story. I have had some success and a lot of failure. I've seen it work. I've seen it. But the thing is, and here's what I stress to everybody that I talk to about it. You don't know the person. You can live with them for 4 or 5 months and still not know them because you're meeting them in an alternate reality. Ship life is not the same as land life. So you're not meeting the same person. Like, I try to be my genuine self, but how I deal with things changes because the environment changes. I want everybody to understand that. If you fall in love, meet them on land before you do anything permanent, because you haven't met them yet. You haven't met all of them. You've met a version of them, but you have not met all of them. So even though you think you know everything there is to know about this person, like, you don't know the whole story, because their life on land could be wildly different than their life at sea. It's the hard facts of life. My best advice is fall in love, but keep in mind that it could fall apart when it comes to land. I do love my job, absolutely. I'm in my personal career field. I love working entertainment. I love working behind the scenes, making the magic happen. I very much enjoy doing the job that I'm doing. When I ever quit working on cruise ships, I'm still going to be doing the same job on land. I think that might be a little different than most people's stories working on cruise ships. I'm sad to say. A lot of people struggle in their jobs because they're not doing what they love. I am doing what I love, so working on cruise ships isn't as hard day to day for me. The thing I hate most about my job is when people, my coworkers, people that I work with, don't care. We occasionally, I guess that's everywhere, but it feels like it's more on cruise ships that people are doing the job just for the money, and they don't care how well it's done. Now, I understand that happens everywhere, but when it happens in entertainment, the entertainment suffers. The product that we put out is completely dependent on how much the workers put into it. And you can tell, you've been to a concert where the band sucked, and that honestly isn't necessarily because the band sucked, but it might have been because the crew didn't care whether they sounded good or not. My best advice for anybody looking forward to working on a cruise ship is stay flexible. Everything could change at any time. Expect nothing to always be the same. You never know what you're going to walk into. You're never going to know what things come your way. Be prepared for anything, which is honestly good advice for life. But like, the ground underneath you is constantly shifting. And that's the literal and metaphor of it. The rules change, the policies change, your coworkers change. It's stay flexible. When changes happen around you, just try to adapt. If you get mad when people change things, like, it's not going to be a good job. Roll with the punches, accept that nothing is permanent, and you'll be better. You'll be so much happier working, just accepting change. My best day working on the ship could be a lot of different celebrity stories. Working entertainment, we have to give people microphones. Sometimes those people are very famous. We get superstars come through from time to time, and they do a bit. They stand up on stage, they talk about their life, and we get to work with them. So I've got to work with some incredible people over the times, but my favorite day was kind of a wreck. We had a couple of different bands on board, and then one day we were like, we want to put them all together. So we had to strip the stage, change everything up, reset it, reprogram it, just for one day, just so we could do this unique event where these different bands all came together and played music together. It was a lot of work, but the product that came out of it was amazing and so much fun. Like, everybody loved it. There was a lot of cheering afterward, but it was a lot of work for me, and I was really proud of the product, that, like, how it all came out. It might not have been possible without all the extra work that I put into it, and I was just really proud of that day. Thank you for talking to me. My name is David. I'll see you later. Arrivederci. Ciao. Adios. Buenas noches. I'll see you around. Because it's round.
Bueno, queridos, eso ha sido la entrevista con mi super amigo David, que le mando un beso enorme y que estoy muy agradecida que se haya tomado el tiempo de hacer esta entrevista, porque sé que es información súper importante para la gente que quiere embarcarse. Así que eso, vamos a continuar con esto. Les mando un abrazo cariñoso, así que dejen sus comentarios, suscríbanse y sus likes.